On a cold, rainy night, Darnell Williams, a single father, cleared the last table of his shift. The elegant woman in the black Armani suit had sat for over an hour nursing coffee, then left without a single dollar in tips, just an empty plate and a folded note tucked beneath the rim. When Darnell unfolded it, refined handwriting appeared with a message that stopped his heart cold. A billionaire left $0. But hidden underneath was something that could change everything for him and his little girl. Rain hammered the windows of Golden Oak Diner as if the night itself wanted to come inside. The old lights flickered, the coffee smelled burnt, and Darnell's feet felt like blocks of concrete under him. Still, he smiled at customers, carried plates, wiped counters, the same routine he'd repeated for 5 long years. He whispered a tired goodnight to Brittany as she packed her nursing books, and she gave him a soft, grateful smile. "You're too kind, Darnell," she said. He only shrugged with a quiet, warm laugh. "Kindness don't cost nothing, sweetheart." But then his gaze drifted toward her, the woman who didn't belong here. The Armani suit. The diamond bracelet. The eyes sharp as a blade and still somehow sad. She sat alone, untouched pie, cold coffee, staring at something only she could see. Darnell approached her table once, offering fresh coffee, and she replied only with a single nod. No emotion. No smile. Nothing. Now she was gone. And she'd left nothing on the receipt. 0. No surprise there. Darnell sighed, shoulders sinking a little, but he didn't curse or grumble. He just gathered the plate. That's when he saw it. A thin, perfectly folded white note tucked beneath the rim. His breath caught. For the waiter who remembers names. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Sterling Industries. Ask for Catherine Sterling. This is not charity. This is a proposal. Do not ignore this. His heart thudded so hard he could hear it in his ears. Sterling, no way, he whispered. Sterling Industries was everywhere. On billboards. On tech. On news channels. Catherine Sterling wasn't just rich, she was one of the richest women in the country. And she wanted him. His laugh came out shaky, half disbelieving. Lord, what kind of joke is this? But the card wasn't cheap. It was embossed. Heavy. The real deal. Later that night, when he got home and tucked Maya into bed, she wrapped tiny arms around his neck and whispered, "Daddy. I had a dream Mommy said she's proud of us." His chest tightened with a trembling ache. He kissed her forehead. "I hope so, baby." But as he lay in the dark staring at the ceiling, that note felt like a stone burning in his pocket. Not charity. A proposal. He didn't sleep. He couldn't. By morning, he wasn't sure if he was terrified. Or hopeful. Maybe both. And both emotions felt strong enough to crack him open. The Sterling Industries tower rose into the sky like a monument built for gods, not people. Glass walls, polished floors, security guards who looked carved from stone. Darnell stood across the street in his one suit, the wedding suit from years ago. Too tight at the shoulders. Too short at the ankles. He swallowed hard, wiped the rain from his brow, and whispered to himself, "For Maya." Inside, eyes followed him everywhere. A black man in an old suit didn't blend easily with wealth. At reception, the woman barely looked at him until he said the name. "I'm here to see Catherine Sterling." Her entire posture changed. Wide eyes. A sharp inhale. Within seconds, 38th floor. The elevator on the left, Mr. Williams. He rode up alone, the numbers glowing in gold as they climbed. His reflection stared back. "You look terrified," he muttered with a shaky laugh. "Good. Means you're alive." The assistant led him into her office. Catherine Sterling looked different in daylight, still powerful, still polished, but her eyes felt human. Tired, even. "Mr. Williams," she said softly. "Thank you for coming." He sat. She didn't. Instead, she made coffee herself, Billionaire hands pressing buttons on a small chrome machine. The smell filled the room. He didn't touch his cup. "With all respect," he said, voice rough, "why am I here? And why'd you leave me a 0 tip?" She didn't flinch. It was a test. A sharp, hot anger shot through him. "A test? You tested me like some experiment?" "Yes." Simple. Cold. Honest. "People act differently when they think no one is watching," she continued. "You didn't complain. Didn't curse me out. Didn't mutter under your breath. You treated everyone around you with kindness. Real kindness. Not performative." He stood suddenly. His chair scraped loudly. "I'm not a lab rat," he said, voice shaking. "I don't need your approval." "Sit down," she said softly. "Please." He remained standing, chest rising in angry breaths. She didn't change tone. "I'm offering you a job, Mr. Williams. A real one. Community Outreach Director for a project I'm launching, Second Chances Initiative. $75,000 a year. Full benefits. And Maya gets a scholarship at one of the best schools in the state." The number almost knocked the breath from his lungs. "Why me?" His voice cracked. Catherine held his gaze. "Because dignity matters. And you have it." The anger didn't disappear, but something warmed beneath it. Something unsure. Something hopeful. He breathed in. Exhaled slowly. "I need to think." "You have 3 days," she said. As he walked out, his hands trembled. His heart pounded. His lungs felt too small. A job. A real job. A future. A life. For him and Maya. But fear whispered in his ear the whole bus ride home. What does someone like her really want from someone like you? The diner smelled like burnt onions and dish soap as Darnell told Jerome everything. Steam rose around them. "You serious?" Jerome asked, laugh half disbelieving, half worried. "Man, rich people don't give. They buy." Tiffany chimed in quietly, "My cousin worked for Sterling. She's ruthless. Be careful, D." Darnell tried to laugh it off, but something heavy settled in his stomach. That night, Maya asked for pencils. Then paused before reaching for a book she loved. "I'll borrow it from the library," she whispered. His heart cracked. Right there in aisle 4 under fluorescent lights, something inside him shattered softly. Later, when he finally sat down at his old laptop, he searched Catherine's name. Hours of reading. Dozens of interviews. Articles. Photos. And then he found it. An old newspaper clipping. From waitress to boardroom. Catherine Sterling credits her late mother for everything. Her mother had been a waitress. A single mom. Just like him. When Darnell returned to her office the next day demanding the truth, she told him, "My mother spent 20 years working tables. Someone helped her once, when no one else would. I couldn't find him. But I found you." Her voice trembled, the first crack in her polished armor. And that made everything harder. Because now he believed her. He wanted this job. Desperately. But the world wasn't kind. And by that afternoon, the world proved it. A local news site posted a story. Billionaire Sterling plucks black waiter for high-paying role. Why? Ugly comments followed. His coworkers stared at him. Frank didn't meet his eyes. Even Earl whispered, "People talk, son. Be careful." Then Maya's school called. Children teased her. Called her daddy a gold digger. Said he was dating the rich lady. Maya came home crying, voice shaking as she asked, "Daddy, did you do something wrong?" His heart broke. Fully. Completely. Painful enough to make his chest tremble. That night, he called Catherine. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I can't do this. The money isn't worth hurting my little girl. Darnell. I can't. Goodbye. He hung up. The next morning, a knock echoed through the apartment. He opened the door. It was Catherine. Standing in the dim hallway, holding a children's science book, the one Maya couldn't afford. His jaw tightened. Why are you here? To tell your daughter the truth, she said softly. Inside, she knelt in front of Maya. Your father, she said gently, is the bravest man I know. Maya's eyes welled up. And something warm, painfully warm, spread in Darnell's chest. After Catherine left, Maya climbed into his lap and whispered, Daddy, if you can help people the way you help me, why don't you? Her tiny voice held more truth than any boardroom. He held her tighter. And he knew. He already knew. He just needed her to say it. The next morning smelled like rain and old carpet. Darnell stood by the window, staring at the city waking up. Maya hummed softly as she tied her shoes, legs swinging, her braids bouncing with every tiny movement. He breathed in slowly. Then exhaled shakily. Catherine's words. Maya's words. His own fears battling his hopes. All tangled inside him like wires sparking. When Maya finished, she touched his sleeve gently. Daddy, if someone believes in you, why don't you believe in you too? A warmth hit him so hard he nearly laughed and cried at the same time. Baby, you talk like you're 45 years old. She giggled, a soft, golden sound, and hugged his waist so tight he had to steady himself. That little hug pushed him forward. He returned to Sterling Tower before he could change his mind. He walked in with a kind of nervous bravery that made his throat tighten. The assistant blinked, surprised to see him. Miss Sterling didn't think you'd come back. Neither did I, he whispered with a dry, shaky laugh. When Catherine stepped into the lobby, she paused, hopeful eyes softening. You came, she breathed. Yeah, he replied, voice low. But before I sign anything, tell me something. Her shoulders pulled back. A mix of fear and honesty. What do you want to know? Is this job real? Or am I some project, some story you'll tell wealthy friends? A feel-good charity piece? Her breath caught, the first time he saw her truly shaken. No, she said, voice trembling slightly. This isn't charity. This is recognition. He didn't speak. She swallowed hard. You are smart. You are dignified. You're better with people than half my executives. And you're a father who loves more fiercely than anyone I've ever seen. A warm, soft sadness entered her voice. This is real, Darnell. I don't need a story. I need someone good. The emotions hit him like a soft wave. He blinked once, twice, trying not to let his eyes sting. With a breath that felt like stepping off a cliff, he took the pen. His hand trembled. But he signed. A quiet, disbelieving laugh escaped him, half joy, half fear. Lord help me. I just became somebody with a salary. He expected celebration. Relief. A happy movie moment. Instead, by afternoon, it began. Whispers. Rumors. People at work saying he slept his way into the job. Or that Catherine needed diversity points. He heard his own name in hateful tones. But what crushed him wasn't what people said about him. It was what they said about Maya. That night, he sat on the couch, hands shaking, mind heavy. Maya curled into his side. Daddy? Did you get the job? He wiped his eyes quickly and smiled. Yeah, baby. I did. She squealed, an excited, contagious little sound, and hugged him so tightly he had to laugh through a small, breathy sob. But behind his smile, something ached. Can a man climb if the world is holding his ankles? He didn't know. But tomorrow, he would try. Darnell arrived at Sterling Tower the next day wearing his only tie. He stood straighter, breathed deeper. He wanted to look like a man ready for his future. But the future wasn't ready for him. The whispers didn't stop. They grew louder. Is that him? The waiter? She must really want good PR. No way he earned that job. Hire a charity case, why not? Their eyes sliced him open. He tried smiling. Tried nodding. Tried swallowing the pain. But a voice cracked inside him. And then he heard it. A louder voice. Ugly. Cruel. Hey! Williams! How's the billionaire treating her new pet? A soft gasp left him, more shock than pain, and for a second he felt 14 again, being bullied behind his grandmother's house. The humiliation shook him so deeply he had to grip a railing. Catherine saw it. She stopped mid-conversation and walked straight to him. Her heels clicked with a sharpness that echoed. Who said it? She asked quietly. No one, he whispered. Her jaw tightened. Darnell, her voice softened. You don't have to protect people who hurt you. He laughed bitterly. I've been protecting people like that my whole life. Her eyes glistened. She stepped closer, not in a romantic way, but in a way that felt protective, almost fierce. I hired you because you're good. Let me prove it. Before he could reply, her phone buzzed. She froze. Her face drained of color. Darnell, she whispered. It's Maya's school. His heart dropped so violently he felt dizzy. He grabbed the phone from her trembling hand. Hello? Mr. Williams, the principal's voice was gentle, too gentle. There was an incident. His breath hitched. Is my daughter hurt? No. She's safe. But she's crying. Someone showed her a news post. Children can be cruel. His entire body trembled. When he reached the school, Maya ran into him with a shaking sob. Daddy, they said you're lying. They said you bribed that lady. They said we're... She couldn't finish. He dropped to his knees and held her so tightly he felt her tiny heartbeat against his chest. Something inside him cracked open. A sound escaped him, raw, painful, half sob, half anger. He looked at Catherine, who had followed him. I can't do this, he rasped. I can't drag her through this pain. Catherine knelt beside them, voice soft and trembling. Then let me fix it. He looked at her, really looked. For the first time, she didn't seem like a billionaire. She seemed like someone who cared. She touched Maya's hand. Sweetheart, grown-ups are mean sometimes. But your daddy is the kind of man we need in the world. Maya sniffled and wiped her cheeks. Catherine continued. And whatever the world says, I will make sure they see the truth. Something shifted in that moment. Something powerful. Something unstoppable. A billionaire. A single dad. And a little girl who deserved better. A team formed in silence. A fight began in the heart. And Catherine whispered the words Darnell never expected. Let me show the world who you really are. Catherine acted fast, faster than Darnell thought a billionaire would ever move for someone like him. The next morning, Sterling Tower buzzed like a hive. Reporters gathered outside. Cameras flashed. Rumors flew. Catherine stood before microphones, her voice steady but burning. Yesterday, my employee, and my friend, was targeted with lies because of where he worked before joining us. Because he's a single father. Because he's black. Because people assume he doesn't belong. She paused, breath trembling slightly. But he belongs more than anyone. A soft gasp rippled through the crowd. Inside the lobby, employees watched the live stream in stunned silence. Catherine continued. Darnell Williams earned his position. He is the most hardworking, dignified man I have met in 10 years. He didn't ask me for this job. I offered it because I saw greatness. Tears burned his eyes. His throat tightened. He heard a soft awe escape someone behind him. And let me be perfectly clear, she said, voice rising, anyone mocking him mocks me. Anyone disrespecting him will answer to me directly. A burst of murmurs swept the room. She ended with, "He is proof that character still matters." When she returned inside, Darnell stood frozen. He didn't know whether to laugh, cry, fall to his knees, or hug somebody. His chest felt too full. I don't know what to say," he whispered. Catherine smiled gently. "Then don't. Just do the work. Be who you are." For the first time in a long time, he felt seen. That evening, as he unlocked his apartment, Maya ran to him with a huge grin. "Daddy. Daddy. Teacher showed our class the video. And everyone said you're amazing." Her little happy squeal made him laugh, a real laugh, deep and warm. She hugged his neck so tight he had to close his eyes and hold her just as tightly. "Baby," he murmured, voice thick with emotion, "I'm trying. I'm really trying." "You're doing it," she whispered. They stayed like that for a long moment, hearts pressed together. Inside, something healed. Something old. Something scarred. Something tired. It healed quietly, like a wound finally given rest. Weeks passed. His community program bloomed. Homeless families found food. Teen workers got training. Single parents gained support. Darnell stood in the middle of it all, chest warm with pride. One evening, as he closed the office, Catherine stopped beside him. "You changed this place," she said softly. He smiled. "We both did." She chuckled gently. "Your daughter was right, by the way." "About what?" "That you should believe in yourself." His breath caught, a mix of gratitude and something tender he kept carefully hidden. He looked out over the city lights. For the first time, his voice didn't shake when he said, "I think I finally do." A soft warmth settled in the air, the kind that felt like a quiet sunrise after years of storms. And somewhere inside him, a door opened. A new life. A new future. A new beginning he built with dignity, courage, and love.